All right. Now look, Joseph makes Mary pregnant. He has to go back to his wife and 6 children. He don't know that she's expected, but they had that kind of relationship. Mary's father comes back and he notices Mary taking on weight. Pretty soon, you know, that's something you can't hide, but just for a while. After a while, you will get a little spread. And if you've got a father that's watching you taking on weight, at first he'll say, honey, are you eating too much? And then after a while, the truth of it will dawn on him, uh-oh, there's trouble in my house. So finally, Mary confessed to her father. She said, Daddy, you remember when you went away? I became afraid and I sent for Joseph. And Joseph came over and he put on the goat's beard. And he and I walked out and fed the livestock. Mary's father said, yes, it seems as though he fed them pretty well. Now, the man was upset, as you would be, as I would be, but more upset. Now, if you hear, brother, that your daughter is pregnant, how does that affect you? It makes you feel pretty bad, you know, but it don't make you feel as bad as they felt back there, because the law in the Holy Land is when you are guilty of fornication in Mary's case, adultery in the case of Joseph, the penalty is death. You freeze. You say, oh, hell, why now? Oh, fuck. And then before you know it, you look around, you alerted him by the expressions of yourself. You brought the very thing that you fear on yourself. But Joseph was terrified. Yeah, when you commit fornication, brother, in the East, you are terrified. Because you know if they find you, that's the end of your head and your terror. So when that angel met Joseph and said, fear not, that this child is the last prophet to the Jews. And I've come to tell you how to protect that child from the Jews' planning. This comforted Joseph. So Joseph went straight away to Mary's house and sat down with Mary's father. Told Mary's father what happened, but also comforted him and said, I was told that this child that Mary is having is to be the last prophet to the Jews, and that we must protect the child from the Jews' planning. Now you've heard that Jesus was born in a manger, is that right? The truth of the matter is that the protection for Jesus was, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, that Allah, Master Farad Muhammad taught him, was they took an ox stall and they hollowed it out in the center and filled it up with hay around the sides, and Mary was put in the center of that ox stall. And they would feed her through a straw. They wouldn't come into the ox stall. They fed her through the hay. Boy, this is something. Man. I want you to get the picture, because when the picture becomes clear and explained, the wisdom of God is made perfect, you know. Here the Jews now are searching for a baby. They learn that the girl is pregnant, so they're looking for Mary, but they can't find Mary. She's gone. The authorities are questioning everyone that is pregnant. They want the Messiah. They know the Messiah is about to be born. Let's kill him before he gets here. So this prophetess woman told Joseph how to protect the child. Put it in this stall. Cover the stall with hay. In that time of Mary's delivery, Joseph delivered the baby himself. In the holy world, when you make a child, you deliver your child. If you are a farmer and you plant your crop, the joy for the farmer is harvesting what he planted. Is that right? If you make the baby, give her the seed, and then somebody else takes our wives. I mean, this is really pathetic. We give her the baby, somebody else comes. We take her to another man. You understand? Where you taking me, honey? I'm taking you to the doctor. He takes your wife behind a curtain. Dig it. I mean, excuse me. Understand it. He tells her, take off your clothes. And he's examining her. See, in the Holy Land, we don't have nothing like that. In the Holy Land, you have midwifery, but the man does the job of delivering his child. Joseph delivered Jesus. The name he was given, Esau, in Arabic. Jesus is Greek for Esau. Yashur is Hebrew for Esau or Joshua. Joshua, Esau, Jesus all mean the same thing. All right. Now we're getting on something. Everybody all right? Okay. Now the baby has to be hidden, and when the baby is 3 months old, Joseph puts the baby and the mother on a camel and send them into Egypt, where the baby would be safe and grow up in Egypt. Now Jesus grew up in Egypt. This Bible says so, and the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad bears witness. He grew up in Egypt. He was very smart, exceptionally bright young man. He went to the schools there, Azhar, or Al-Azhar as they call it, a university there in Cairo, Egypt. He was a brilliant student. But when he was 14 years old, think about it now, how many of you youngsters in here are 14? Anybody 14? You are 14. All right. Now you think of how you look at youngsters that are 14. You say, that's a little girl. She don't know nothing. Or that's a little boy. He don't know nothing. You're wrong. Don't you ever look at your growing children and think that they don't have an awareness at 14. When Jesus was 14, he was ready to leave his mother's house to get on with his mission to the Jews. Now look, but before he could get on with his mission, he had to learn who he was. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that an old scientist met Jesus, was looking for him. And one day while Jesus was on his way to school, this old man asked Jesus, he was in the company of another young man, for a certain address which was right next door to where Jesus lived. So Jesus said to the old man, why, that's right next door to where I live. I will show you where it is. So that gave the old man and Jesus a chance to be alone and walk together. And so the old man asked Jesus this question: do you know who you are and what your future is? And Jesus, he was 12 years old then, said to the old man, no sir, But I know that when I grow up, I'm going to be a great man.